Should we talk about Arsenal?
Yeah, why not?
And that news yesterday that they have confirmed that they've brought in sporting director Andrea Berta. And it's been reported that his priority target for a new striker is Victor Gyokeres. OK. Doesn't take much, does it?
Tough job, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, him. But that's great news, isn't it? If you're an Arsenal fan, suddenly someone coming in saying, oh, I think we need to bring in a striker. Would that be a good choice if they could get that deal done?
Yeah, I think it would be. Depends on the price. I think it always depends on the value of a player and what you can get him in for. But I think what you've seen with him is that he's improved year upon year and there's been a progression within his game. I know he scored a lot of goals for Sporting, but I do still feel that there's a huge step up back into the Premier League to be able to do that. You're also a club who will be fighting. Hopefully, they'll be hoping for a Premier League title next year, so there's bigger responsibility on your shoulders to be able to do that. But it depends on the price tag. I think that's the big question with them. Arsenal fans will be also saying, well, why not Isak? Why not go in for him?
OK, in an ideal world, if they're both valued at the same money,
Isak all day.
You go for Isak.
Yeah. Newcastle fans will hate even talking about this because they'll desperately want to keep hold of him, won't they?
So
but I just think...
You're not going to Newcastle for your summer holiday now?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I think, just because you know what he can do in the Premier League, you know what he's capable of, that consistency of performance there. He is the all-round striker. Like Stephen said, Gyokeres has obviously showed his development and his progression. But clearly, that's exactly what a sporting director will do straight away. Will come in and go, well, we need attacking reinforcements. And
we mentioned Gyokeres there. What is the latest with him? Is he going to be the transfer saga that's one of those that goes on and on and on throughout the summer, or do you think something concrete will get done soon?
Yeah, I think a lot of clubs are obviously interested. Obviously, Arsenal have been strongly linked with him. Manchester United strongly linked with him. He's worked with Ruben Amorim before. The question that's been asked in Portugal recently and publicly by the sporting president is what price he'll go for. There was that talk of a gentleman's agreement, but it seems that Sporting want to extract maximum value, and that makes sense because he's the guy that's fired them to a couple of titles in the last 2 seasons. They also won the Cup this season as well in Portugal. So if they're going to lose him, they want to make sure they get the maximum amount of money for him. So I think there'll be a bit of toing and froing. And it'll be interesting to see what other deals happen or don't happen, because Arsenal have been really strongly linked with Benjamin Sesko. If they don't go down that route, maybe Gyokeres is the one that they'll turn to.
Kev, but can you understand from Gyokeres' point of view, if he had the conversation at the beginning of last season where they said, you give us a season and we'll lessen the price that you can go for, you can understand him being a little bit peeved about it.
Yeah, of course. If there's an agreement there, and actually you look at, mentioned Sesko. Sesko's in exactly the same position with Leipzig, because Leipzig effectively said to him, we want you to stay for another year, because he could have gone last summer. He was very strongly linked with the Premier League last summer, but he stayed on. In the end, he didn't help them because they had a bad Champions League campaign and they didn't qualify for Europe, but that wasn't his fault. He scored goals, he played well. So... yeah, Leipzig have stuck to their words. They're expected to let him go for a more reasonable fee than maybe they could otherwise expect. So it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being the same for Gyokeres, because there does seem to be a bit of angst there at the moment.
If there was the same price, say like Gyokeres is going to be, 69 million or whatever, and Sesko was the same, who would you think would be the better value of money?
Personally, I would pick Sesko because I think maybe he's got a higher ceiling than Gyokeres. I like both of them. I mean, it's a nice problem to have. I do think there's a bit of magic with Sesko.